But I can talk a lot about the melding of acting and writing, which, even when I was a starving actor in New York City and couldn't get seen for anything, because I'm a character actress, I'm not some beautiful ingenue. So, I literally had people saying, oh, you'll work when you're older. Great. So great to hear when you're in your 20s. So, but what we all decided to do, my three other out-of-work actor friends, was let's write sketch comedy. We can get agents to come and have a drink and or watch sketch comedy a lot faster than, Macbeth on Avenue D. And we started writing sketch comedy, which was so much fun and so terrifying.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the author podcast. We get to meet great authors from around the world. I get the joy of talking to some pretty fantastic people in having a podcast. I got to tell you, some of them, they come on the show, they're very unassuming, and we have a great conversation, and we part ways. Some come in the room and light up the room, and that's Marianne. She comes into this room, and I love having her on the show because we're going to talk about her journey as an actor. We're going to talk about her journey as an author. She has so much to talk about. I'm so excited to have Marianne on the show. Welcome to Living the Next Chapter. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. Of course, you're scaring me now because now I feel like I have to be incandescent at all times. But but I can talk a lot about the melding of acting and writing, which, even when I was a starving actor in New York City and couldn't get seen for anything, because I'm a character actress, I'm not some beautiful ingenue. So, I literally had people saying, oh, you'll work when you're older. Great. So nice. Great to hear when you're in your 20s. So, but what we all decided to do, my three other out-of-work actor friends, was let's write sketch comedy. We can get agents to come and have a drink and or watch sketch comedy a lot faster than, Macbeth on Avenue D. And we started writing sketch comedy, which was so much fun and so terrifying because we went to the comedy clubs. Those were really scary. I mean, a New York audience at midnight after having some drinks. And also the stand-up comedians, they didn't have a fourth wall. So if you were heckled, they could break the fourth wall and heckle back. We could not because we had sketches. So I truly almost buckled to my knees on my way to the stage. But
wow.
But they did ask us to be regulars afterwards at Catch a Rising Star. And we got to meet Robin Williams, and it was an amazing and terrifying to do. But the thing was, not only was it great in securing an agent, it also meant that I never feared auditioning again because nothing could be tougher than a New York audience at midnight, like I said. Yeah. So even as bad as it was auditioning, it was never as scary as that stuff. So
now you've had a pretty interesting career to date with more coming, but tell people a little bit about some of the shows you've been on. I know you from Sopranos. I know you from the Three Stooges movie, which still cracks me up every time I watch this. It's crazy. But you've worked with some really amazing people throughout your career.
Really true. I've really lucked out. I mean, I was in Goodfellas, but all my scenes were cut. I was in three scenes with dialogue. Thank you, Union, though. I still have residuals from this. Yeah. It was amazing to be on that set and I met Scorsese. We had a great conversation about how my mother booked numbers for a living illegally. And, he made me a sight gag. He made me the wife of Tutti Vario in Goodfellas. The giant round guy who threatened to put the postman into the pizza oven. He was my husband. And I really had fun on the set, but it was horrifying that all three scenes were cut. I mean, I do remember my first day on the set. It was a dinner scene, and I was carrying in a giant pan of lasagna. I tripped and dumped it into Lorraine Bracco's lap. That was my intro. So that was like kind of terrifying. But the other stuff, like doing Three Stooges and sitting opposite Larry David, both of us dressed as nuns at lunch every day, was crazy. Just crazy. And the funny part about that was I remember that I went to the wrap party and, I wasn't dressed as a nun, and I could see that Larry did not recognize me out of my nun car. which is pretty hilarious.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I had hoped to be transformed into Audrey Hepburn, but alas, that did not happen.
That's very interesting. And an interesting movie for you to act in, too, because I think when we chatted earlier, you had a very interesting childhood growing up, and you were in you were in situations where you were dealing with people that now you are dressed as on camera. So that's a little interesting, right?
I had 13 years in parochial school. I had, my family were first generation immigrants from my family were immigrants from Italy, and I'm first generation. And being Italian, they thought, how good can public school be? It's free. In Italy, you pay for everything but the air you breathe. You want the priest to read a letter from home, dozen eggs, so they thought parochial school must be better. But the thing was, they didn't go to church or anything. They were, and I became Stockholm syndrome immediately when I I would my mother would be rolling out the pasta for Sunday, and I'd be saying, you never go to church. No, mothers don't have to go to church. Mother's got to make the macaroni. And I'd be like, but you don't even go to confession. Hey, I got to tell my sins to some guy. I was like, it's not a guy. It's a priest. Let me tell you about the priest, Marianne. And then she'd tell me a story inappropriate for a 7-year-old. And so that was what that was like. I lived in a dual world there for a while. But the nuns were, they were uniformly, except for one French-Canadian nun, they were mostly Irish-American. And the Italians freaked them out because they were too sensual. They marched a Madonna down the street with dollar bills attached. They didn't get it. They were like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah. Right.
So there were a lot of slings and arrows that way. So
going to that school, though, over that period of time, that must have really kind of shaped a little bit of your worldview, I think, seeing that as adults behaving around you and trying to go, is this where I want to go? Is this where I don't want to go?
I completely fled. I went the opposite direction immediately. As soon as I was pretty sentient as I just did not get what they were talking about. In fact, there's a chapter in the new book where I talk about breaking the seal, and it's not breaking the seal of the confessional either. It's breaking the entire seal. So I moved on without them, and I'm still there. But it was, they were very bullying. And they strip searched my girlfriend in the 8th grade. They accused her of stuffing her bra. And they were real, and they were spectacular, as Seinfeld would say. But can you imagine? They'd be arrested for that today.
Yeah, right.
They wouldn't. I don't know. But
there you go.
It was pretty bad. And it was weird having the dichotomy, of at home.
And then you're in that environment. You have to kind of, in your brain as a child, you have to kind of try to make this stuff make sense.
Well, I was buying it at first, for a while. I was really into it. And then, of course, I never slept again because I was afraid of apparitions for a long time. Because, it did dawn on me that if the BVM appeared to you, you would die as a child. The Fatima kids did not last that long. I was well aware.
Wow.
Think about it.
Yeah. So you grow up, you leave home, you chase Hollywood. Is that what happened?
Oh, no, God, dream? No, not Hollywood.
Come on.
No, we moved to New York because it was theater and it was indie films, that kind of stuff. I remember seeing Mean Streets in Harvard Square and being like, I have never seen a film like this. I want to do that. And I learned it at university when I took an acting class. I thought, this is better than sex. So
now, there's a pamphlet for you. Yeah, that's an advertising campaign.
Yeah. So
it
was, and it was hard to get to college because, my family was like, you're just going to get married. I was like, no, that's not in the plan. Not in the plan. So...
Wow.
They couldn't picture it. And what parent, and to be honest, what parent wants to hear, I'm going to do theater and probably be financially insecure for the rest of my life? I don't love hearing that.
Yeah. The traditional things they want you to chase, right? So you have this acting side of your life, which is a huge part of who you are, and open the doors to meet great people and do amazing things.
Including my husband.
Right, of course. Yeah. Come on. Can we get a little nod to your husband here while we're together as well? Come on.
Oh, he was, I mean, first of all, this is a man that I've been married to for 42 years, who when I put a plate of food in front of him still says, "Thank you, honey, that looks great."
Nice. Come on.
That's why we're married this long. He's an amazingly kind, beautiful man. And I met him in acting class. He was very shy. And of course, he fulfilled my first childlike obsessions, which were cowboys. And he literally was a cowboy because his family had a ranch in Kansas, and he did all of that, you know?
Nice.
So, yeah. So I thought he reminded me of Sugarfoot, who I was addicted to, Will Hutchins, who in the opening of his series every week, I was in love with him because not only was he a cowboy, he was reading a book on horseback. It's like he was a cowboy who read books on horseback.
There you go. A dream come true. There you
go.
Truly. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get into, you decide to start writing? Is that kind of what happened? How did it find you?
I always wrote. I mean, I kept journals. In fact, my sister found a journal that I wrote when I was 10. Recently, my mother destroyed everything. She was like a thrower-outer of everything. And I had kept diaries, and I was mourning that they were all gone. And my sister found one that was, hooked under a bureau that she was getting rid of. And she said, "You were such a happy child. What happened?" And I said, I was writing as a character, as an American, I was disguising myself as an American because I felt insecure about stuff that right now foodies would be going crazy over. The fact that my mother was this fantastic cook, but we didn't eat anything that looked like what Americans were eating, and it was really funny. I just wanted to be as American as those people I saw on the sitcoms, and my family was definitely not. I mean, not until The Sopranos did my family appear. Not that they were mafia, but, and...
Interesting.
So I wrote in this alter ego, and it's hilarious to read. I'm saying gosh and darn like I'm living in a sod hut in Nebraska. I swore like a sailor even at 10. So...
So you've been acting your whole life then, acting as an American on American soil. And,
that's right.
Right?
That's
living that other piece
I was living another existence. And then when I discovered acting in college, I thought, oh, this is what it is. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was totally fun. But I always wrote. The whole time I was writing, I wrote for the school paper when I was in college. I was writing all the time. And I wrote... like I said, sketch comedy when we were trying to get, I was thinking about young kids today breaking in and how a lot of stuff is that they've done YouTube stuff that has been turned. And I thought that's what we would have done. We would have done that. We would have made short films on YouTube. That totally makes sense, so.
That's a good comparison. I like that. Yeah. That's really true.
Yeah. So, yeah. So,
so you start writing, like as far as writing like your memoirs and now your novel, where did you get that inspiration to? That's a little different writing than writing in your journal and writing poems, and
true.
It's a little bit more.
What happened was,
I guess, right?
We lost our son Jesse, who was born 10 weeks early, and then developed cerebral palsy. And we lost him at 17 suddenly. And, I had been writing screenplay because when we had Jesse, Chris's career started to take off, and we both couldn't be away. So I didn't act for 10 years, and I started, I was acting a little bit in the beginning. I did True Love, Nancy Savoca's first film with Annabella Sciorra and Ron Eldard. And I remember we were both nursing our babies on set. That was amazing, Wow. And I also remember doing Household Saints with her. I did a few films, but I basically was writing screenplay. And a few of my screenplays got optioned, and one of them, based on my mentor, Mary Somoza, was picked up by HBO. They paid me for it, and then they dropped it, which apparently happens. But that gave me the impetus to write.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious where that comes from, like where that spark is, because I know there's authors listening to our conversation, and they're wrestling with their starting. where you're further down the road.
For me, I was writing op-eds and, I was outraged by the struggle that we had to get Jesse his a basic civil right to be educated. And we moved to Massachusetts, where we live now, because in New York, the rate of inclusion for children with disabilities was 7%, which is terrible. And here, it was above the national average, and this was before the internet, so I couldn't really research as well as you could later. But we moved to the one town that did not have inclusion. And so it had a special ed director who basically was quoted as saying, "Why should we spend money on these kids? They don't give anything back to society." And
come on.
I said to Chris, "This guy's getting a dead horse's head in his bed, and Jesse's going to school. He's not going to have a job when I'm through with him." And he didn't. There were 6 lawsuits that year that we fought with them about Jess. And Jesse went to school and went on to be, he was on the honor roll every year. And he was an excellent student, even though he was nonverbal and used a computer to take tests in school. But it was a real struggle. It was like a 1.5 year, 2-year struggle for us. I mean, we were losing weight. I bought a punching bag. It was not good. And that really inspired me to write a lot, because I was documenting that. I was keeping a journal about what was going on. And when Jesse died suddenly at 17, I almost died myself after that, because this book by Bissell van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. Did you ever hear?
Okay, I've heard of people
an
talking
amazing
about that
book.
Yeah.
So my body grew a tumor the size that Jesse was at birth after he died, and because I was dying too. And I started writing a memoir about Jesse, and I wrote it selfishly, not to tell parents what to do, not about, how to fight for your kid, not any of that, just because I wanted to be immersed in him, spend time with him, be with him. And I first wrote an essay about Jesse, about what it was like to grieve in America, in a perpetually adolescent country that doesn't recognize grief and thinks you should be able to, I don't know, just slough it off, or you've grieved that long, that's it. And the culture I come from recognizes it, and my mother's culture gets it, and my father's culture, because they've known war, they've known grief, they get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I wrote an essay about that, and then I started writing the memoir, but I didn't feel secure, because I had only written screenplay, not to demean screenplay, but screenplay is a different genre. And I felt intimidated by long form prose, So I joined this great organization here in Boston called Grub Street, which is, classes that you can get instructors. And so there was a class in memoir, and I wanted feedback because I didn't feel secure in what I was doing. And after a time, I finished it, and I got my agent through Grub Street, because who is now my agent, Colleen Mohide, was visiting the class. And afterwards, the instructor said to me, I had dinner with Colleen, and she was asking me about the people in the class. And I didn't say your name, but I said, well, there's a woman in the class who's an actress. She's writing a memoir about her son. And she said, that's Marianne Leone. I was hoping she'd write a book. So that that made me want to work with her, that she remembered from the essay.
Right.
And so we met, and she became my agent, and she started submitting the first book about Jesse, which was originally called Knowing Jesse. And it was not, the interesting thing was, it was not sequential, except for the part where I wrote about fighting the school. That part was sequential. And I was inspired by Abigail Thomas. Do you know her? She wrote this great book called Three Dog Life. And it's about, she married late in life, has this husband she adores. She's living in New York. They have a rescue dog. He's crossing the street by Central Park. Dog gets loose. He runs after the dog in traffic. he gets completely, I mean, his head is broken. He's got traumatic brain injury from this. She tries to take care of him. She cannot handle a grown man who is having this. So he's in upstate rehab. She moves upstate to be near him, and it's about her life then. And she writes these wonderful chapters that are unrelated. It's not sequential. Like there'll be how to separate dogs in a dog fight will be one chapter. And I thought, that's the way I'm going to do this, because what I told myself was, you're not really writing a book, you're writing essays,
Yeah.
And so Colleen, I remember when she started submitting the book, said, I'll submit this, but if 18 out of 20 of them come back and say it has to be sequential, we'll have to talk. But the fourth publisher picked it up, so that was great.
There you go.
And it was a big publisher. It was Simon & Schuster. So that's when I entered the world of books. I mean, I had no clue, and I was really lucked out because I had a wonderful editor for the first time. And this kid and I call him a kid because he was in his 20s. He did not have children. He was not familiar with disability. I was amazed that he got it, quite frankly. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was the first person who read it and took it on and became my editor, and he was lovely to work with. It was incredible to me. So,
did you find it a challenge to go from taking somebody's words on a script and bringing them to life as a character compared to the opposite, where you're trying to bring life to the words, I guess, as a writer and bring the characters into the story?
I had my insecurities as a writer because I never went to the Iowa workshop, and I've never taken an MFA or any of that stuff. Yeah. But of course, I'm very secure in my grammar thanks to the nuns.
Yeah, thank you.
One good thing. And, I was insecure, but I got good feedback from what I was doing. So I think it's what I was saying to you before, that I think that I was basing everything on what you did as an actor. Like if you didn't come from truth, it was not going to work. If you weren't coming from a truthful place, it didn't work. And the same with memoir. If you're going to lie about it, why are you writing a memoir? It's like, and I didn't want it to be this, I wanted it to be warts and all type thing, because that's what life is. And I didn't want it to be some sunny, inspiration porn. And, and I was really harsh about that on myself. And I'm glad I was, even though I will say that Jesse was our true north. Jesse did inspire us. Jesse did, we felt, protect us from the vicissitudes of becoming an actor. I mean, in Chris's case, who flew very, very high, and there was never any kind of, because we always had this person who was grounding us, and we were grateful for that. Really, really grateful, Yeah. And that was the reason we'd never be living in Hollywood, by the way, either.
Right. Yeah. And I guess as we see these people on camera and you see them in movies and TV, you have this thought of, their life must be so rich and so easy and so much fun. But we're human beings.
That's right.
Whether you're on camera or in the seats, right?
That's right.
We're all living something.
That's right.
Right. And I think we all need to understand that about each other.
Right. I mean, you're not sitting around eating bonbons, believe me, especially not with a child with multiple disabilities.
No, right?
But
I think it gives you another level of respect for the people that you admire and you look up to, because you're doing something we're not. Right. So in that, we already look up to you, because it's like, I would love to, right?
Everybody would do it if you love your children, beyond your own life. And that's what that is. And, and the other thing that's like acting, though, that you were asking me about with writing is that, there's a thing in acting about like becoming self-conscious, like aware of yourself, and it kills any truth in acting. I think that's true of writing too. When you become self-conscious about your writing, you know what I mean? It's not good. It's because you're flourishing everything. You're making everything beyond. It's not as good.
It's not true.
Yeah.
Right. It's not true.
Yeah. So.
I think that's the one thing, when you can get an actor to just inhabit the character and they become the character. I think that's where people get confused. Yes. And they start calling you by your character name.
Oh, I know.
But that's not, you played that character, but that's not you.
That's
there
right.
There might be elements of you, little seasonings of you in there, but that's not who you are.
But you're drawing on all this stuff, and it's the same when you're creating a character in a fiction. I mean, like Christina the Astonishing, my latest book, is. I'm going to hold up a copy of it.
Oh, please, yes, go on, right there. There you go.
They, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is autofiction. Obviously, I was able to draw in my 13 years in Catholic school. I'm including kindergarten. But it's not me, because this girl is way bolder than I would have been. She's the way I wish I would have been, you know.
Right.
And there are fictional characters in this, although I will say the mother is very much my mother, because she was larger than life, and why would I ever change that? I've actually written a memoir about my mother called Ma Speaks Up, because she was amazing. You know, at the time I did not appreciate her because I wanted Donna Reed, not Anna Magnani. But when I became an actress, I was very pleased to have had this over-the-top dramatic woman, you know.
We got to talk about her a little bit, because when we chatted before, I'm just like, had this picture in my mind as you explain and talk about your mother, and she sounded like a character, like just
she truly
a character, right? She
truly was. I mean, she was well known. Her wake was huge in the neighborhood. You know, it was like I don't know, it was like a mayor had died or something when she passed. And she was, I mean, every day, here she was, widowed at 43. She came here at 16 to avoid an arranged marriage to an old man who had adjoining land as a dowry, and to escape fascism, ironically. And as it turned out. And she met my father, and you know, they got married, and they were very happy together, and he died at 50, and she was 43 with 3 kids, English as a second language, and no marketable skills outside of cooking. So, you know, I mean, I admire her in retrospect, though at the time I was like, oh God, you know. Her many, you know, insanities, but I admire her, you know. And I lived in a small enclave 7 miles outside of Boston, where every single person pretty much was from the same village in Italy. You know how Italians kind of tend to settle together in places because the padrone comes and then everybody else comes. So everybody was from San Donato Val di Comino. And growing up in that, I mean, it was great for some people. My sister is very involved in this community and stayed there and everything. For some people who want to become actors or whatever, it can get a little, you know. You know, like you want to escape. But I did not want to stay there. But I very much admire the community and how they've, you know, helped each other and stayed together. And that's what it was, you know. And my mother got a job working in this, you know, kind of mob-connected restaurant, and then became a bookie, too. She was booking numbers, and she was, you know, going up and she was just so interesting. Like I said, that we had this whole group that was from the same place. You know, eventually the neighborhood started expanding and changing. And so the Italian family that lived next to us moved out, and a family from Pakistan moved in. My mother had no racism whatsoever. She was like, she felt totally like, I know what it's like to not know, but, you know, she was very wanting them to, you know, and the little girl was the same age as her granddaughter, and she loved that, and she would and I saw that little girl, Sarah Khan, not long ago, and she told me, oh, Grandma used to take us with her, me and Jennifer, you know, when she'd place her numbers, and the guys would give, they'd give Jennifer a quarter, and she'd be like, this, my other, her father's Sicilian. She'd say, so mental.
I like that.
She remembered her with such love for that, and she adored her older brother, who became, like, it's the word I can never pronounce, epidemiologist, you know, somebody who studies diseases. I said, your family rose up so much faster than mine, you know. She's a lawyer. Her brother's like this disease specialist. But my mother loved them and was always like asking them to come and have food. And, you know, of course, she's giving them meatballs and like, we don't eat pork. Oh, no pork. Yeah, it was pork. But But
there you go. I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, for the readers then, for your newest book, I really want them to connect with you and kind of get a sense of what we're going to get from this book. And it's a different departure for you compared to some of the other things you've written, right?
Like I said,
Yeah.
That was really fun because I got to take off from memoir. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still about creating truthful characters, but I got to take my very rich, what I consider very rich background and expand on it a little bit. And also, I think it's funny. I mean, my blurb on the cover says, as hilarious as David Sedaris, which freaks me out, but I hope he doesn't attack me or anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing like my humor. But at any rate, it's meant to be a comedic novel. And what I'm really excited about is I have a bunch of readings lined up here in Boston and one in New York where Chris has agreed to read the male voices with me. And we are going to have a blast doing this.
Be a lot of fun.
Totally.
Right.
I said, you get to be the Monsignor in this one chapter we're going to read together. And I could also, if you like, read a short piece from it.
Oh, well, let me ask everyone. Yeah, we're all saying yes. All of us with our hands up. Yeah,
Okay,
come on.
cool.
Come on.
Okay. This is Christina and her entire class are dragooned by the nuns into going into Boston and seeing The Sound of Music, of course, when that comes out, right? So this is Christina, however, has planned to escape to the ladies' room, and she's brought a book with her if it gets too, cloying or disgusting. So just going to read a snatch from this. Instead, she meets this guy who's going to become a boyfriend of hers.
Oh, okay. Come on, let's go.
The nun musical number brings her out of her trance. A gaggle of them are singing and performing the necessarily restrictive kind of choreography cute sisters can execute, whipping their hands in and out of their habits and walking in lockstep. The number is meant to be a charming interlude, but Christina is ready for the ladies' room again in the overstuffed chair. Before she can gather her things and bolt, she notices snickering coming from somewhere to her right. A civilian, someone not part of her school group, is sitting alone in the middle of the first row on the right-hand side, divided by the aisle. From the back, it looks like a young man with longish black hair. His shoulders are shaking, and he is shrinking into his seat, giggling. She looks at the screen. There's nothing funny going on up there. The nun musical number is mercifully over, and now it's Julie Andrews telling the abbess, "But Mother Superior, I can't seem to stop singing." The giggling gets louder. Christina catches it like a virus. It is ridiculous. It's true. How could you not laugh at this girl who is too perky to be real? Who is this guy? She's curious to see the giggler from the front and plans to get a good look at him on the way out to the lobby in the plush ladies' room armchair that awaits her. Christina slips out of her seat and walks down the aisle. She stops and pretends to tug on her socks when she gets to the first row on the right, sure she is rendered invisible by the half wall in front of the rows of seats. She peeks up in the general direction of the laugher. He is leaning forward, resting his arms on the ledge that separates them and looking right at her. "Good morning, little schoolgirl," he says, leering. His slightly tilted brown eyes look huge behind his wire-rimmed glasses. Christina has no idea he is quoting a song. She flees, cursing the stupid uniform that brands her as a schoolgirl, but somehow exhilarated at the way this strange, googly-eyed boy looks at her. 45 minutes later, Christina is sitting opposite the mysterious young man at a greasy table in a little Chinese restaurant across the street from the movie theater. She watches him expertly use chopsticks to eat something unrecognizable. She keeps an anxious eye on the entrance to the theater so she won't miss the crowd of precious blood students exiting after The Sound of Music. He waited for her outside the ladies' room and introduced himself as RT, but his real name is Robin Truesdale White. Christina burst out laughing when he said his name. It sounded like a foofy English character from one of her Oscar Wilde plays. "I'm a Mayflower descendant, my dear," he replied, mock offended. "Well, my descendant came over on a much later boat." He walks with a limp and carries a silver-topped cane like a dandy from another, better time. He has hemophilia, he tells her, thus the limp. Like a Habsburg prince, she thinks. He is so exotic, she feels like she's slipped into an alternate universe she has created with her own irregular brainwaves, the ones her mother is always mislabeling as Batsa. Best of all, he goes to Harvard. Okay, it's just part-time, or as he tells her, taking a few classes, but still, a college boy has sought her out. He is interested in her. He wants to get to know her. She pictures telling Patsy and Mary Agnes and Rose she's dating a guy who goes to Harvard. She will leave out the part about only taking a few classes. She needs to impress him. Say something, she commands herself. Why were you laughing in there? She dares to ask him as he wolfs down rice dotted with some kind of black sauce. It looks horrible, but smells delicious. She wishes she were brave enough to ask for a bite. I ate a magic brownie for breakfast, he tells her. It lasts way longer than a joint, he explains when she looks confused. His answer does nothing to lift the veil. Christina is still parsing the connection between a magic pastry and a joint. RT laughs. You really are a little schoolgirl. How old are you? Christina's face shudders. The tilted eyes are kind, though, so she answers, keeping the edge out of her voice. I'm graduating next year, so I'm probably not much younger than you are. 2 yellow school buses lumber around the right corner onto Elliott Street and park in front of the theater. Christina stiffens. RT smiles. What happens if you miss the bus? He asks, challenging. Christina stands up nervously, bobbing her head for a better look. I can't get in trouble again. Getty almost got me expelled. Tell me. I got caught reading blasphemous poetry in school. I got sent to the Monsignor. RT's eyebrows lift adorably. She has impressed him. And what did the Monsignor say? Christina smiles. He told me to read John Donne. Did you? Christina pulls out A Season in Hell and hands it to RT. Yeah, and I found another Catholic poet, Rimbaud. RT pulls a face, about to say something. I mean, he was French, and I'm sure he was baptized, so he's technically Catholic, but I know he's the opposite of Catholic. I know that. I hope you know I know that, she babbles. She takes a deep breath. The Monsignor also told me to go to dances and have a swinging time, because boys don't like girls who read too much poetry. She pauses, but I haven't been able to have a swinging time yet. The buses rev their engines. Christina looks anxiously toward the theater entrance. RT reaches into his green Army Navy bag to retrieve a pen. He writes something in her book and gives it back to her. I can help you with the swinging time. Christina's precious blood classmates spill out the door of the theater. I have to go. Christina bumbles her way out the door, stealing a few backward glances before running to her bus, the pumpkin that will transport her back to Derby Street away from her Habsburg prince. She scrambles onto the bus and finds a seat at the back, grateful no one else has boarded yet. Breathlessly, she opens the Rimbaud. He has written, for a swinging time, call Robin Truesdale White. His phone number is scrawled below. She clutches her pounding heart, stabbed by grace.
Come on. I love the speed of that. It just felt like I was trying to catch my breath the whole time you're reading that. Like
Good. I mean, Chris always yells at me that I talk too fast.
No, I love that. Yeah. I love it. I can see it. I can picture it in my head.
Oh, I love that when people say that to me.
So good.
Good.
So good. So good.
I didn't know which. Yeah.
Do you think that some of your acting background feeds into how you write then? Like,
yes,
really? Because I felt like I could see it.
Yes, I think so. I think in a weird way with dialogue, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Because I have a thing about dialogue. If it doesn't feel, it can't feel pasted on. Like, dialogue cannot feel like something brilliant that you've thought up that would never come out of the mouth of the person who's saying it. Right. Yeah. You know? And, I have not learned any real rules, but I know these rules as an actor, you know? So, you know, like, as an actor, you would feel funny saying a line that didn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
That this character would never say that.
I think a lot of authors that I've talked to have struggled with dialogue as an author, especially if they don't have a background like you have.
Yeah, but you know what?
Understanding how people do, right?
You know what I struggle with? Point of view. Because, and I'll tell you about this, I didn't realize that I was breaking all these point of view laws.
Look at you.
Because when you write screenplay, I had written, I'll be clear with you about this. There's a scene where the nun is addicted to cough syrup. One of the nuns that teaches her, and when it gets too much with the class, she like reaches into her drawer, puts her cough syrup in her, and goes into the cloakroom, as they called it, and takes on the cough syrup. So in screenplay, if I were writing that, when she walks into the cloakroom, it's her point of view, right?
Yeah, because
now you're looking at the nun in the cloakroom. You can't do that if that's the only time it's her point of view, apparently. I don't know. I felt weird killing my darlings, but I did because I was told it was not. Point of view is point of view. On the other hand, my friend Andre Debusse is always saying to me, there are no rules. So I don't know.
Well, if there are rules, we'll push them as far as we can. How about that, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. If you don't know what the rules are, it's really hard, to, even though if you know how to break them, it's like I am not professionally schooled as a writer.
Right.
So, but
that doesn't stop you though from writing, no. Which I like, right? And I think some people will use that excuse. Well, if I don't have the education or the knowledge to do this, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
You're just like, I have my point of view. I have the way I'm going to write.
Right.
Here's what I'm going to put in the world.
And I mean, I'm schooled up to a point in that I had, and I took acting class.
Yeah.
A master. And so you learn the basics, but aside from that, I'm not overly impressed with like a lot of classical education. My dad, I don't think had one day of formal teaching in his life, but he was reading Tolstoy when he died, and our house was filled with books. He was self-taught, and I have respect for that, a lot of respect. For someone who comes here to this country when they're 10 years old, not speaking the language, teaches themselves, falls in love with books, passes it on to his kids.
That's amazing.
It's a beautiful thing, It's
a good story. Yeah. That's a good story right there.
Yeah.
I like it. So you're going to continue to write, Marianne? You're going to keep writing into the
definitely.
future?
You know what? Yeah. I'm actually going to take this one screenplay that I wrote that I guess would be called, I don't know, it's about time travel, but it's comedy. And I think I'm going to novelize it because it's been optioned, but I'm not sitting around for that, Yeah. So I'm going to write that. And I've been writing flash fiction for a long time. By that, I mean, I belong to this group of women who write 100-word pieces, not 99, not 101, only 100 words, right?
Wow.
And I've been doing that for about 5 years. And I realized I have a book. And I thought I would put it together in, I'll corral all the pieces. Like I realized like there's one chapter that is penises I have known and not necessarily loved, because it's about all the men who have flashed me. I realized I wrote about that a lot. So
that took a turn. Okay, yeah. Well, there's a book. Interesting. It's not a picture book, though. I don't anticipate. No. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. Okay. That's a different topic altogether.
I didn't. There were no cell phones then, so I didn't think too much about my cell phone when that happened. One such event does occur in Christina because it happened all the time, especially in Boston. What is that?
I don't know.
Didn't happen as much in New York when I moved there.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right.
Still haven't put that together. I can only consider, I don't know. I have my thoughts on it, but I still have, anyway, this is once going 70 miles an hour on a highway, yeah. Weird.
There's many stories. If you're listening from Boston, please reach out. Tell us what's going on there. We need to know. We need some research from someone on the street. Let us know what's happening there because we need some confirmation. Please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Marianne, I would love to keep in touch with you and celebrate with you in the future as new books come out and new writings happen. I just love having people like you on the show, and there's so much fun to talk to.
Thank you, Dave. This was really fun. I just felt like I'm talking to a friend and having a great time. Right. Someday we'll get to visit.
Oh, come on.
But I'm afraid to go there. But then when I come back, they're like, did you write this up, Ed?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
need to work to get me out of the Louisiana gulag I get sent to. But anyway, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here on the show. And as far as people connecting with you, Marianne, where do you want to send people as far as following your journey as an author and an actor and all the great things you're doing?
Well, I'm on Threads. I'm on Blue Sky. I have my website which is terribly out of date right now, but it's about to be re-upped because I have hired someone, not me. And it's MarianneLeoneCooper.com, mainly because it was another Marianne Leone who spelled her name exactly like me with the French first name Marianne Leone Cooper. But I had to add Cooper. I should have just said Marianne Leone author, actor, but no, didn't occur to me. Now it's too late. Anyway, it's MarianneLeoneCooper.com, and it will have like all my readings and where I'm reading and blah, blah, blah. I don't comment on there as much as I probably should, but because I'm saving my 100-word pieces for the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we'll send everybody there. I have links for that in the show notes as well. Yeah. Everyone go and go back and watch some of these amazing shows that Marianne's been on, and her husband has also been in acting for so long. Such a rich history between the two of you. It's just incredible. Rich history, right? Between
thank you. You know what? Last week there were 2 days in a row that I was on with Larry David. One was the Three Stooges, where, I'm like, there we are, we're both nuns. And the second one was Clear History, where I got to lie in a ditch and swear at him using my real Massachusetts accent. And he was like, give me your tough Italian. Give me. And I was like, they were the ones that beat me up, but okay. But it was really fun to let loose with my real accent that I have spent a lifetime suppressing. So I could
could turn that dial up again. Yeah, there you go.
Really fun.
It's good. Thank you so much for doing this. We got to have you back in the future. It'd be great to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Glad to have you here. I just want to let you know that you can always find out what we're doing live in the moment by going to our YouTube channel. Head over to livingthenextchapter.com. There'll be a link right there. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that all the YouTubers love to say. And in our YouTube channel, a couple things. You're going to get advanced listens. You're going to get the episodes that we're working on in real time. So we record and post daily on our YouTube channel. I'd love for you to give us a follow over there. As well, we're making playlists. We have over 500 episodes. So finding the right episode for you, we're trying to group things into playlists. So if you like children's books, if you like business, you like historical fiction, we're grouping our authors together to make it a little easier for you to find your favorite next author. So head over to livingthenextchapter.com. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Hearing from the listeners of the show is great. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast family. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and your listen. Take care.